make money, make muscles, learn game. If you're listening to me, you're a hot dude. The hot dude life is not about your physical appearance. The hot dude life is a mentality. The Hot Dude Army is a global network, and the Hot Dude Army is everywhere. Decrease your judgment of others and increase the judgment of yourself. You belong to the streets, huh?
100%.
It starts with learning dating, and then you move on to something to push humanity forward. That is the philosophy of modern life dating.
This is a textbook example of really good game.
Boom, baby, we are live. Welcome to Interview with the Man, episode 572. What it do? Today we're talking about liberal women versus conservative women for dating. This is going to be a really important episode because I'm actually going to be doing a review of a study that was done in the political sphere. And the name of the study is, let me just show you what it is right now. The study is right here, and that is correlation, not causation. The relationship between personality traits and political ideologies. So what this study is going to show you is pretty simple in today's episode. We're going to show you exactly why certain people embrace certain ideologies. And the long short of it is, I mean, based upon this data here, like literal, like scientific data, this is like a published study. And this is, accredited universities doing this. What we got going on here is, mate, it's clear as day that liberal people who identify with the liberal ideology are absolutely like objectively shitty people, and we're going to talk about that. This kind of ties into the culture and what's going on. As you can see, there's been a little bit of theme on this channel where I'm talking about what's going on with the themes of dating and kind of the global awakening that's happening right now. We reviewed that yesterday on the show with Mr. Vladimir Putin and his speech. And surprisingly, I had no idea that more than 60% of the audience had no idea that speech was happening. It's a little concerning, but that's why you're here, subscribed today with me, Jonathan, from Modern Life Dating. And we are going to get scientific today. I've got my science glasses on. And I really want to just, again, remember, guys, the reason I do this is to make your life easier at home, okay? I don't have a motive. I don't have an agenda. My agenda is the truth. My motive is discovery, okay? That's all I care about. I'm looking for objective, irrefutable truth because I want to pass that on to you because we live in an age of lies. Social media, governments, they're just lying at every corner. I've been in my personal life. I'll tell you guys a little bit something. Recently, over the last, I would say 6 months, I've been having some pretty intense digestive problems, right? So it's caused me to do a really deep dive on food, nutrition, and what's actually going on out there. And I'm starting to realize that, like from a literal objective standpoint, that we really don't need to be eating carbohydrates. You know, some are okay, right? But like I'm talking about like bread, rice, stuff like these heavy servings, pizza. You know, I haven't had pizza in a while. You know, I went to a pizza place recently, and you know, I had a little bit, but then before that, like I used to eat pizza like, you know, multiple times a month, and that's just no longer the case, because the more studying I do, the more research I do, the more I'm kind of coming to the like conclusion that yikes, man, that these carbs are just so bad, and everybody's consuming them all the time, and that's why everybody's so sick and unhealthy and fat. I'm going to show you a little clip as well. I'm going to try if I can pull this up there, because I wanted to show you about my recent. I've been on just recently on a fucking truth binge. I've just been looking for truth and everything. And this is something that, you know, that's really common sense. And then honestly, with my recent meetup with Mr. Brandon Carter, King Keto, what was going on with him and me when we were discussing was just talking about how he has also been on the ketogenic diet. Now, the ketogenic diet is like pretty extreme, right? He doesn't eat any carbs. I think he eats like maybe 20 net carbs a day, give or take, right? But obviously he looks phenomenal. And recently I've been studying with Carnivore MD. I don't know if any of you guys are watching him, but he's a great guy. And my diet lately has been very, very simple. Like for the last couple of days, all I've been eating is grass-fed beef. And I have been eating eggs with that, boiled eggs, grass-fed beef. I'm eating within a 5 to 6 hour window, right? And then when I have a little bit of a sweet tooth, what I do is I just bought some whipping cream, and I just pour the whipping cream into a bowl. I have a little mixer, and I mix it up, and then I drizzle organic natural honey on top of it, and then I eat that as my dessert. And honey, as you know, is like it's really, really good. Like honey is like legit medicine for you to an extent. Really good for you, and I've been having no digestional problems at all. So I'm feeling really good. And if you've been looking at me over the years, like I'm actually look like I'm getting younger as the years go on. If you like look at 2019 MLD to like me now, you know, obviously I had the hair transplant, got my dark circles fixed, got my veneers. I am doing things to improve my physical appearance as well. I've been doing obviously pretty intensive skincare routine as well, but you know, I drink a lot of water. I'm a very healthy individual behind the scenes. And so that being said, a lot of things are just being revealed to us that we've been lied to, like the food pyramid. So this channel is obviously going to be ultimately a channel dedicated to truth. You know, if you've watched the episode of Rule Zero, like when I was going back and forth with Cappy and Rolo and them, you know, a lot of people like, you know, people say like, you know, when Rolo's on the stream, they just assume that I'm going to bow down and be like, oh yes, whatever you say, Rolo, you're Rolo. And it's not the case. I argue with him a lot. Not argue, but push back a lot. And I think he's wrong on a lot of things. And I think he's right on a lot of things. But ultimately, you know, the proof is in the pudding here with me, with you, and results, right? You're not watching me because you're wanting entertainment. You're watching me because I'm providing objective value. And if you look at my track record of things, like I've been banging out home runs consistently for a while now. One thing I'd like to show you guys here is kind of not necessarily related to today's episode, but you know, valuable data here. Take a look. And this is a clip of Dana White, president of the UFC, talking about him linking up with the man from the 10X Health System, Gary Brecka. And take a look what he has to say here. It's pretty smart.
Diet, you know, and basically people talk shit about the keto diet, like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. This is what Gary Brecka told me, and think about this is true. There are essential fats that your body needs or you'll die. There's essential amino acids that your body needs or you will die. There's no such thing as an essential carbohydrate. It's not true. It doesn't exist. You don't need fucking carbohydrates. You don't. And you can listen to Gary Brecka, 10X Health Systems. You can listen to Joe Rogan. Any of these guys that that he has on his podcast and they've studied. I have never felt better. And you ask any of the people that are around me, my memory, my brain is so fucking clear now. My memory is so much better than it was 10 weeks ago. It's just there's just so many things in my life I could tell you that have changed. I feel like I'm 35 years old again.
Really?
I swear to God, I feel like I'm 35
and
again.
10 weeks is nothing.
Nothing.
That's nothing.
It's not like you got to do this for 8 months.
Right.
And if this is how I feel in 10 weeks, how the fuck am I going to feel in 6 months?
Right.
I'm on the keto diet.
And Dana White is 53 years old, to top it off, right? So really just a lot of things that we thought were true. Like, I'm going to be honest, when I was young, right, I was literally so gung-ho about the government. I was just like, you got to pay your taxes, right? You got to, like, I used to say, like, if America goes to war, we got to defend our country of like 1,000%. And now that I'm older and wiser, right, looking at what's going on in the world, I realize, like, I've just been lied to so much. And take a look at Dana here. Okay?
They do these tests on you, and
This is Dana. He did this test with the guy. Check it out.
right within a month. So I'm like, wait a minute. This guy
Hold on. So that's Dana. He's 53.
can you, and they know when you're going to die, and they're right within a month. So I'm like, wait a minute. This guy can tell me when I'm going to die and be right within a month.
That was your hook.
I became obsessed. So I went down there. They did my blood work. He said, if you keep doing what you're doing right now and you stay on this trajectory, you got 10.4 years.
I said, Dana, I can see that you can't sleep through the night.
I would wake up in the middle of the night and throw up almost every night.
And I said, I'd be very surprised if it's not painful for you to bend down and tie your shoes right now. And he went, no fucking way. He slammed the table down. He's like, you gotta be kidding me. You're starting to freak me out.
My legs were so fucked up that I couldn't put my socks on in the morning. I was like 1/10 of a point away from being diabetic. He said, you do exactly what I tell you to do for 10 weeks, and I guarantee you I'll change your life. So I was in. You have to understand, I don't fall into all this hippie bullshit. That, I don't do any of this shit. I'm like average Joe, real guy, okay? This guy has changed my life in 10 weeks. I don't snore anymore. And I sleep 7-8 hours a night now.
How much weight have you lost, if you don't mind me
30
asking?
pounds. I feel like I'm 35 years old again. There's somebody.
Look at that, bro. 53 years old. And I know somebody in the chat's like, he's on the sauce, but, like, who gives a shit, dude? You can't, like, you guys think that you just take steroids, like, you're automatically jacked. Like, no, you have to go to the gym. You still have to diet, okay? It doesn't work like that. It's not like you just take steroids and fat falls off and then, like, you just become, like, this impeccable giga chad. It doesn't work like that at all. And if you talk about what exactly he's talking about here, he's talking about sleep. Honestly, to be honest with you guys, I haven't really let people know this, but I would be waking up in the middle of the night and, kind of having this acid reflux, not vomiting, but like a mouthful of acid. Once or twice I'd have to, like, get up and go to the toilet and, like, spit out some residual, kind of acidity. But the problem is, like, eating this American diet is literally killing so many people, and they don't even realize it. And again, going back to what I talked about with the food pyramid, right? The food pyramid is a total scam. So for me recently, right? Let me tell you something. So it's now Tuesday, and my Tuesday is finished. Recently all I've been eating is grass-fed beef, apples, and whipped cream with a little bit of honey on it. And, like, I make the whipped cream at home, so it's like you just take heavy cream with no sugar in it, you whip it, and with, like, the little mixer, like the double prong thing you put in there. Your mom used to mix pancakes with that when you were little, if you had a good childhood. And then, they would do that, and we would whip it up, and then we would just drizzle some honey on top of it. And then, I'm feeling great. I'm not, like, groggy. I feel very mentally clear. My sleep has absolutely gotten so much better as well. I've also been using nasal strips. So, like, I've just been really focusing big time on health and maximizing stress reducing activities, moving and everything. You guys know what moving is ultra stressful. And behind the scenes, I've been dealing with a lot. But, it's really good to just maximize your effort to have a healthy life and have longevity and all these things. So, again, but going back to it, if we were to follow the American way, the government way, right? What are they saying? Eat 6 to 12 servings of carbohydrates, avoid fats, avoid, like, literally at the top of the food pyramid, they say you should have minimum fats. Remember when in the early 90s, everybody's like, oh, fat-free, we want fat-free. Because people were so dumb, they thought eating fat made you fat. But when you eat something fat-free, it's loaded with sugar, and that spikes your insulin. That gets your body into fat storage mode. So I'm really having fun, like, divulging into all this information. And it kind of, watching Carnivore MD kind of inspired me to kind of do some peer-reviewed studies as well from this study here that's correlating, political ideologies and personality traits. Because another thing is this too, like with birth control, with all these things, right? Everything is just fucking up mate selection so bad. And with the divorce laws the way they are, it's just like so much risk out there. And I don't want you guys to get in any trouble. You know what I mean? So that is what we're going to be talking about right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, go. Q, are you currently in Japan? Why does it matter where I am? Do you follow me on Instagram? Are you missing a chromosome? Anyways, hey, Alpha Kingdom, what's up to you, buddy? Good morning. Stephen Aranibar, Canadian $10 super chat. Thank you very much, sir. Here are some commie Trudeau bucks. Keep up the good work, Jeep. Thank you so much, brother. Let me give a quick shout out to all my members. Shout out to Real Femme Sapien. Allie, are you still here? So we're all trash. Passport bros, I see you. I love you, sweetheart. Harry Zico, shout out to you, my mod in the house. Shout out to Cody Mouse, member as well. And shout out to any other members in the chat? Alpha Kingdom, shout out to you again, sir. No members. If you want to be a member, go ahead and click that link in the box below. Click that join button. That just helps me keep the lights on and helps me with the channel. All that money goes right back into the business anyways. So appreciate it. All donations as well. Like, I don't take this as donation money and go and spend it in the club or anything. I actually despise going to the club. But yeah, I take care of my health and take care of the units of, lights here, camera, all that stuff. All this equipment's expensive, man. But I mean, you guys keep coming back and watching, right? And by the way, if you can't donate money, if you can't become a member, you can just click that like button for free right now. And that will allow us to get the party started. So I got a couple clips here, right? So Colonel Sanders, what's up, bro? Thanks so much for being a member. Thank you. Appreciate you, my bro. Appreciate you big time. I love all my former military guys that are friends with me and members of the channel community and all that, because honestly speaking, when I deal with military guys, they're some of the easiest people to coach because they're so used to understanding they understand hierarchy, they value and understand the importance of structure, getting information, absorbing it, implementing the information, taking feedback from the information, creating reports, and optimizing. And that's why I have so much success with all my military guys. So let's just get this party started, shall we? So, okay, let's talk about this. So obviously right now, the doom and gloom squad, Aaron Clary, Rolo, and them, we're saying like, oh, no matter what, with this new dating app, the right stuff, you're going to see these girls are all going to fucking hate men. I'm just like, okay, show a hand between the two of you. How many of you guys have ever used dating apps? Crickets. How many of you guys have ever pulled a girl off of dating apps? Crickets. How many of you guys have ever made a profile on dating apps? Crickets. I'm like, great. So what you're telling me is you're making assumptions about situations that you have never been a part of. Roger, Roger. That sounds great to me. And it's fine. They're allowed to have their opinions, right? So the thing is, I think that the fact that this is even available now, okay, is a good thing. And it has launched. As anybody on this app, I think it's gonna be good, because girls that are like down to like be outwardly be conservative, they are objectively better partners. And we're gonna review a study here about that. But I put a poll out as well the other day on my channel. If you guys want to go ahead and vote, please, I'll show you how to access the poll. Take a look here. So right here, you would just go to my channel, right? So you just go to Modern Life Dating, and then you click on the community tab, and then right here, I put a poll out the other day. I'd love to know what you guys think. A lot of people seem to agree with me. I said, are the people in the Manosphere, creators and viewers, optimists or pessimists? And we got 2,600 votes here. 64% of you guys out there voted said pessimist. And then 36% of the audience said optimist. And then some of the people, there's some snake comments in here because people are saying, oh, I'm a realist. So if you're a realist and that you're just optimizing your response to say, oh, but I'm a pessimist. But the reality is this, the objective data is always monumentally supporting optimism far more than pessimism. But that's just a lazy person making a lazy reply. Remember, if you're watching my stream, this is a stream for people who have above average intelligence. And so that's probably why you're watching me. And I want to say thanks so much. But, a couple people here and there, have snuck in. And it is what it is. That's okay. But, we're gonna move forward with that. And we're just going to keep on keeping on. Because you can sit there and be negative all the time. But the reality is, whether you think you can or can't, you're right. Well, you're going to be positive, you're going to have a positive outcome. You're going to be negative, you're going to have a negative outcome. This is like scientifically proven. People who sit around and say, I'm lucky. Do you guys know that it is scientifically proven that if you consistently say, I'm lucky, more good things are going to happen to you? Like literally, it's called self-fulfilling prophecy, but they've done this. So sitting around and whining about spilled milk and just crying about shit, like that's why the black pill guys, their lives keep on getting worse and worse and worse. Why they watch the black pill content and they brainwash themselves into a miserable state. You can brainwash yourselves into a positive state as well. So let's take a look at this study here. Okay, and the study here says a correlation, not causation. The relationship between personality traits, and political ideologies. The link is in the description below as well. And you can click on this study and review it later, okay? So abstract. So when you see a study like this, the abstract is basically a TLDR of the study. So the assumption in personality and politics literature is that a person's personality motivates them to develop certain political attitudes later in life. So they're basically, what they're saying is people with certain personality traits will either become conservative or liberal, okay? This assumption is founded on the simple correlation between two constructs and the observation that personality traits are genetically influenced and develop in infancy, whereas political preferences develop later in life. Okay, so they're saying your personalities are basically formed from day one, and then your political preferences are developed later in life. Okay. Work in psychology, behavioral genetics, and recently political science, however, has demonstrated that the political preference also develop in childhood and are equally influenced by genetic factors. These findings cast doubt on the assumed causal relationship between personality and politics. Here we test the causal relationship between personality traits and political attitudes using a direction of causation structural model on a genetically informative sample. The results suggest that personality traits do not cause people to develop political attitudes. Rather, the correlation between the two is a function of innate common underlying genetic factors. Okay? So, pretty interesting so far. And I want to see where the method is. Yeah, it's pretty long. Where is the... Okay, the method's here. Cool. Okay. Okay. And I want to show you. Okay. Where is... Okay, here we go. So I'm going to skip to the end to give you guys, because I know, God forbid, everybody doesn't want to stay for the whole episode, but I hope you do. Smash that like button if you do. Researchers in personality politics have assumed a causal link between personality traits and political ideology. So, certain genetic factors and personality traits will absolutely cause you to vote one way or another, but forget voting, just talking about personalities in general. Okay? conservative versus liberals. The results presented here do not support this assumption. Rather, primary connection between personality traits and political ideology rests on the common genetic precursors of. The results presented here do not support this assumption. Rather, the primary connection between personality traits and political ideology rests on the common genetic precursors at each. At this stage of research, we find no support for reigning assumption that the personality traits cause people to develop political attitudes. Our results imply that humans are at heart political animals, right? Political attitudes are not simply an afterthought, and while largely measured in adulthood, the foundation element exists as part of our core disposition and appear to be just important as shaping our behaviors and our personalities. So they did say there was not like a statistical, like guaranteed proof, but if you actually read into the study, you're going to see here what I'm talking about. Okay. So let's go to the relationship between personality traits and political attitudes. Okay. So, before delving into the causality assumption, it is first useful to explicate both personality traits and political attitudes. Personality traits are typically conceptualized as stable individual differences that are, in general sense, guide behavior. Although there is no universally accepted definition of personality, most researchers views personality traits as the culmination of life events, personal adaptations, and biological mechanisms. Okay, consistent with this logic, research in developmental psychology has established that many personality traits can be assessed early in life temperaments, which are predictive of adult personality traits. So right here, life events. This is like what happens when people have like traumatic childhood or good childhood, right? This is an influence on them in the future, whether you want to admit it or not. Another perfect example of this is Johnny Depp. If you watch the deposition of Johnny Depp with Amber Heard, he started off his deposition talking about, or not deposition, but when he was on the stand in the court trial, he gave a story of what it was like being raised in a household with a emotionally and physically abusive mother, and how his father never stood up against her. He just tolerated it and he took it, right? Yeah, thank you, John Collins. Testimony. Thank you so much, right? And so later in life, in his late 40s, early 50s, guess what? He links up with a girl who is absolutely just like his mother. He is remaking that same childhood situation over and over and over again. Okay, this is why what happens when people don't friggin' resolve their traumas. What happens is they end up reliving their traumas. They end up redoing their traumas, and they don't really realize this, and they do this for the rest of their life, right? So let's go back to this article. Consistent with this logic, research in developmental psychology has established that many personality traits can be assessed early in life as temperaments, which are predictive of adult personality traits. This early emergence and relative stability across time insinuates that personality traits precede other social dispositions, such as political attitudes. In this view, personality traits are not conceptualized as proximate causes that can explain specific behaviors, but rather as distal causes that explain response tendencies across a wide range of situations, ignoring specific situational pressures. The period's here. Okay. I was looking for, I didn't see the periods over here. So I'll read that again. Ignoring specific situational pressures. There we go. As such, multiple intervening processes mediate the impact of personality traits on observed behaviors. Okay. Ideological orientations, on the other hand, so now they're going, that was explaining personality. Now we're talking about ideological orientations. This is basically following under the guise of politics and political standpoints. Ideological orientations, on the other hand, are typically conceptualized interrelated set of attitudes that reflect an individual's liberal or conservative preference across a range of interrelated policies, which can be clustered along multiple ideological dimensions. Okay? Can you guys see that? Okay, I'm not blocking it. In contrast to personality traits, political attitudes are thought to emerge only after the individual begins to engage with the political world. Thus, young voters are more susceptible to political tides because they have relatively weak attitudes that do not crystallize until their mid to late 20s. Makes you question the ability for these young people to vote, right? I know I was an idiot ages 18 to 25. I shouldn't have been voting then. I don't think I should have been able to vote until I was 30, quite frankly. Accordingly, if the development of political attitudes occurs much later than personality development, it is reasonable to assume that personality traits cause the development of political attitudes. Bingo. Such a view has been used to explain the relationship between specific attitudinal scales and specific personality traits. In research exploring the relationship between these two constructs, the most common personality trait linked to politics has been openness to experience and more liberal social moral issues. Specifically, openness to experience has found to be negatively related to a variety of ideological measures, such as conservative political attitudes, right-wing authoritarianism, and social dominance orientation. This relationship has been attributed to the, quote, fact, end quote, that people who are more open to new experiences are less tied to the conventional ways of doing things, and this openness extends into every facet of personal life, including political orientations. So let's talk about that, right? So yeah, conservatives are usually typically demonized because they're wanting to keep things the way it used to be, right? And honestly, kind of makes sense, right? Like if you have a business that's making money, and you get a new idea from somebody that's untested, and there's a risk involved for the business to go down and not make money by implementing this new idea. Why would you implement the idea? Like, of course, and then that's when you factor in risk taking and all that stuff, right? But typically, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? But some people are addicted to like this constant need for change, and it's really just it's pretty wild how people are just like they just constantly need more and more and more and more, right? They just like they can't just be consistently okay with fucking just normal like day-to-day interactions. Like they constantly need some new high, they need some new change, they need something, right? And really it's just it's pretty exhausting to be around those kind of people. Like, have you ever been with a girl and like she just constantly is always like, always like, oh, I need to hear, I need to go here, I need to go there, I need to do this, I need to do that, right? And it's just like, it's just so exhausting to be around those kind of people. And in addition to that, I want to add this, right? So, it's guys are not innocent of this either, right? Because sometimes, right, we just like some guys out there. Put one in the chat, and if you agree, I'll lead the charge by putting my one preemptively. Okay, so some of us are just like addicted to getting new pussy, right? And that's basically you're just chasing dopamine, right? Now there is a genetic imperative behind that too. Don't get me wrong, but there is a way for you to be satiated with one woman. But if you've been chasing pussy your whole life, then your neural passageways are going to be addicted to this way of living. This is why fat people keep getting fatter. This is why drug addicts keep using more drugs. And same thing with guys who constantly want to go and get no pussy, right? Like they're like, oh, he's just a player for life. No, he's not. I mean, yeah, he's a player for life, but the reality is it's not like he's genetically predisposed to that. He has conditioned his mind into that. And it's all due to like an addiction of dopamine. And this is all stemming from a book I've been reading lately called The Molecule of More. And that's where this study has come from. And so I'm going to read some excerpts from the book as well. I don't think I can get a copyright strike from reading a book, right? So, and this isn't chapter 5 of the book, and I'm literally just going to read from the book as well, because there's some really just fascinating information in this book that is just like really. I've been listening to this book on my my private time, when I go to the gym, when I walk around. I went and walked down to this new jiu-jitsu gym, or excuse me, not jiu-jitsu, kickboxing gym, and I took Happy with me, and then I was just walking and I was listening to this book, and it was just like just blowing my mind. I was just like, what the hell? It is like so unbelievable. And I just figured it was so correlated to what we're talking about here. And just so you guys know, today's going to be a long episode, but I want to let you know it's going to be valuable. And this is some information that's really changed my perspective. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to review some videos and stuff as well, because it's all tied together. It's going to be a very long episode, but it's going to be good. It's going to be worth it. So go ahead and smash that like button. We got 217 in the house, 123 watching. Please kindly smash the like button. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So we're probably going to read about 20 pages of this book. But like I said, I'm going to skip over some stuff, but we have about 20 pages to review. And is it? Oh, actually, I'm just double checking everything right now. Oh no, it's about 30 pages. It's okay. We're gonna cut to the chase. All right, let's go back to the actual study. So we're back at the study page now. Okay. So okay. So here we go. The relationship between political orientations and personality traits is multifaceted, however, and extends far beyond openness and general liberalism-conservatism, right? Research has also demonstrated a consistent but weaker relationship between conservative political attitudes and conscientiousness, okay? So conscientiousness is basically like, it is one of the things that's one of the personality traits that's in the Big Five. And conscientiousness is the quality of wishing to do one's work or duty well and thoroughly. So basically conscientiousness is like your consciousness, your conscience. Like remember like the little cartoons when we watched when we were kids, you had like the devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other shoulder. Conservatives are more likely to want to do a good job, to want to be a good person, okay? And I'll tell you this, guys, as I've gotten older in life, I'm realizing like a big part of having success is keeping good-hearted, decent people around you. People who are not greedy, people who are not selfish, people who are not lazy, people who do not run away from accountability. Okay, when people run away from accountability, when they don't take responsibility for their actions and their life starts to fall apart, those kind of people are cancer. And you just can't have these people in your life, because they will pull you down and they will fucking destroy you. And this is also in regards to your success in dating life, right? If you want to have a good woman in your life, guys, like you do have to go the player route. You do have to date a bunch of women. You have to date a bunch of women to find a good woman, because good women are rare more now than ever, okay? And then the thing is this, there's no way around this. Because some of you guys, what you'll do is you'll go date a girl, and then you'll start overlooking her red flags because you're so desperate for companionship that you'll be like, oh, well, she's just like, she only blacks out drunk like twice a month. Like, and I think she'll change. I'll make her change. Or, oh, she only cheated on me once. I'll take her back. Oh, she stole my wallet. She stole my fucking whatever. And you rationalize their bad behavior because you don't want to do the work. But when you take whenever you choose laziness in life, you're going to always fucking pay the price. Because if laziness was a good thing, it wouldn't be shunned upon, okay? Laziness was a good thing, all the successful people would be doing. But laziness is a bad thing. Laziness catches you in the ass, okay? Conscientiousness. Political conservatism has been associated with dogmatism. Eisenach's P, intolerance for ambiguity or uncertainty, a personal need to achieve order, desire for structure and closure, integrative complexity, and fear of threat or loss. It is also suggested that conservatism should be associated with high levels of anxiety a major component of personality trait neuroticism, right? And I think the reason there is a little bit of anxiety associated with conservatism is because there is a little bit of a self-induced pressure to do the right thing, right? How many of you guys have met like the most stress-free people in the world and they're all like fucking losers, like happy-go-lucky, stress-free, but they like drive for Uber and they smoke weed. And like everybody likes having the guy around because everybody knows he's a loser, but he's a stress-free loser and he's just kind of enjoying his like little loser life. You know what I mean? I know a couple people like that. I like to watch them. I'm like, it's fascinating. I'm like, wow. But then I see him like getting his old 9 to 5 and go make $45,000 a year and, you know, do his little fucking cheap birthday surprise, you know, little thing that they do or whatever, like just live their little normie life. And I see that and I'm like, yeah, I guess like it's cool, whatever, that's your kind of thing. But I don't want to go through life being a slave, right? I want to be free and I want to be in charge of my life and I want to have control of my ship, right? I don't want to be fucking someone else's bitch. You know what I mean? So I think that's potentially why. Now, can you be a little bit less high-strung and a successful person? I don't. All the super successful people I know are a little bit. I want to say on edge, but not in a bad way. But they're a little. You know, they're very on point with things. Okay. Blake in the chat says, my cousin's like that. He's 30 with a baby while working at Domino's. You see? And you wake up and then your life passes you by. You're 45. You're like, wait a minute. I'm still at Domino's. And I make $45,000 a year and I'm 45. Where is my life gone? Then you have body aches. You have fucking fat on your body. Life's tough. And then you're just like, what? So I think a little bit of anxiety is good. Just a little bit. You do need to have a little bit of pressure on yourself. Okay. Let's see. Intriguingly, the empirical link between ideology and neuroticism suggests a relationship is actually between certain facets of liberalism and neuroticism. Okay, these empirical relationships have been replicated across time in different political contexts. Okay, so that's just like the relationship between personality traits and as well as their political ideology, how they're kind of linked in a complex way. So what we're going to do, though, because this study is just really, really, really complex, okay? It's like, and for you guys that have psychology degrees, have science degrees, the link is in the description box below. But I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a preemptive look at it, okay? And so what we're going to do now is we're actually just going to switch over to the chapter 5 from the book, The Molecule of More, okay? And what we got here is a really great book. And then I'm just going to read from this book, and I'm going to kind of cherry pick, but I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. And then I'm going to show you some information as well on some YouTube data that is really kind of puts it all together. And then shout out to Dre Season with the $20 donation. Thank you so much, bro. That is a huge donation. He says, just hopping into show support. Currently watching your Putin stream. Keep doing your thing. Thank you very much, brother. Appreciate you. I'm going to hit you with a wow. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it, guys. Yeah, no.
Shut up and take my money.
You know, we're back in the seat here, and I'm going to be putting out content every single day. So, you know, stay tuned. Hit that subscribe button. Like, comment, subscribe. And we're going to keep on keeping on, baby. Here we go. So chapter 5 of this book is Politics, Why We Just Can't Get Along, in which we learn how superpowers and hand sanitizers affect our political ideology. Okay, is there any way I can hide? I think I have to go to the left-hand side. Just give me... Let's go over here. Okay. Cool. Let me see if I scroll down. Okay, perfect. Is that chat? Is that big enough for you guys? Is that big enough? Like, are the letters big enough on your device, your mobile device, your iPad? Right here. Is that big enough for your eyes? For all you grandpas in here in your 50s, can you guys see that? You need to put on your bifocals. It's good. Large Indian Charge says, let's fucking go. Yes, on computer. Pepe de Zerover, but I'm on PC. That's right, baby. PC Master Race. Christopher Misteezy, he says, yeah, all good. Bet. Okay, cool, man. Let's go. And by the way, smash the like button, por favor, please. Okay? All right. Ernie says, I can see. What's up, Ernie? Love you, man. Okay, the authors are great. In April 2002, the American Journal of Political Science published a research report. Correlation, not causation. The relationship between personality traits and political ideologies. Okay? It was written by a group of researchers from the Virginia Commonwealth University who studied the link between political beliefs, and personality traits, right? And again, that's this one here. That's this study. I want to make sure. Did I make... Who is this? This is the right one, right? What? The American Parliament. American Surrounds. It doesn't say... Huh. I want to make sure I have the right one. Pretty sure this just says available in 2013, but it just could be post dated. All the studies kind of line up. Okay, anyways, we'll just go back to the story. Okay. It was written, they found that the two were connected and the connection could be attributed to genes. Along the way, they noticed that personality traits were associated with liberals and others with conservatives, okay? They were particularly interested in a collection of personality features which psychiatrists call personality constellation, called P, okay? The authors noted that people with low P scores, okay, now this is really important for you guys at home, okay? Indeed, you have to definitely read, sorry, I just got right super chat.
Shut up and take my money.
Thank you for the $2 super chat. Tech Lead, $2 super chat. Does MLD read super chats? Yes, and he enthusiastically reads super chats that are $20 and more. But thank you for your $2. I will receive 70% of that. So you guys got to remember the P score, okay? This is the personality constellation. Authors noted that people with low P scores are more likely to be altruistic. Altruistic is doing good for the sake of good. Well socialized, empathetic, and conventional. By contrast, people who have high P scores are manipulative, tough-minded, and practical, and present characteristics such as risk-taking, sensation-seeking, impulsivity, and authoritarianism, okay? So ask yourself right now, quickly, all right? You're right. You're the best thing ever, Ali. If I had to commit to a religion, I would commit to the religion of real femme sapien. There is no God in my life but you, because you are just the most perfect woman in the world, and you get the Final Fantasy VII victory song right there. I love you, Ali. You're the best in the world. This is now your stream. MLT simping. All right. No, but honestly, ask yourself, guys at home, all right? Seriously, just take a moment and ask yourself, based upon these two...
Shut up and take my money.
Oh, shit. Dan Sparks, $50 super chat. Here's a little enthusiasm for my boy Johnny. Dan, thank you so much. You didn't have to do that, man. Appreciate you, but I will enthusiastically give you the wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. But, okay, let me get back to this, because this is important, guys. So you want to ask yourself, okay, if you have to choose from two sets of women, okay, which would you like to have? Women with low P scores, altruistic, well-socialized, empathic, and conventional, or do you want to have women with high P scores, manipulative, tough-minded, practical, and these characteristics are embodied in the person via risk-taking, sensation-seeking, impulsivity, and authoritarianism, right? Gee, which one of these which one would lead to more cheating in your opinion, huh? Would a woman who's more altruistic be more likely to cheat? Well socialized, empathic, and conventional, or manipulative, tough-minded, and practical, while also risk-taking, sensation-seeking, impulsivity, and authoritarianism, right? So you ask yourself that. They concluded As such, we expect higher Peace scores to be related to more conservative political attitudes, okay? So they thought high Peace scores were going to be associated with conservative people. They thought conservatives were manipulative, tough-minded, and practical. That's what these researchers thought, okay? So, hey, what's up, Ryan? Ryan Stone's in the house. Big man. So here we go. What they predicted was exactly what they found. The stereotypes they said were true. Conservatives tend to be impulsive and authoritarian, while liberals tend to be well socialized and generous. So liberals are well socialized and generous. But in science, when you find exactly what you expect, it can be a red flag. And in January 2016, 14 years after the original report, the journal
Shut up and take my money.
The journal published a retraction. So they said the authors regret that there is an error in the published version of correlation, not causation, the relationship between personality traits and political ideologies. The interpretation of the coding was exactly reversed. Somebody flipped the labels. The correct interpretation was the opposite of what they reported. It was the liberals in their study, not the conservatives, who were manipulative, tough-minded, and practical. Because when I was reading this book, I was like, what the fuck? I was like, damn, that is like mind-blowing. Because I'm open to the truth, right? I'm totally open to the truth. I don't have an agenda. And I was like, maybe liberals are more shitty. And I started like questioning my beliefs. But then I was walking down the road and I was like, son of a bitch, I fucking knew it. I knew these bitches were treacherous, right? Tech Lead, $10 super chat. I'm 38, currently dating a divorced 39-year-old, one kid, with bankruptcy and foreclosure on a record. Great chemistry with her. Looking for an LTR, not marriage. What do you think, MLD? What would you do? Okay, if you were the real Tech Lead, that Asian guy with a YouTube channel, you need to go to modernlifedating.com, book a 1-hour consultation. Do not have any kind of long-term relationship with that girl, okay? Because if you tell me the chemistry is great and she's most likely a toxic chick. So don't do that, okay? I would not stick with her. Pump and dump in that order, okay? Recreational use only. And pay attention to today's episode. You'll learn a lot. So the data was inversed, right? And it was the conservatives, not the liberals, who tended to be altruistic, well-socialized, empathic, and conventional. Many people expressed surprise at this reversal, right? So here's the deal. Look at the political climate now and ask yourself, who is who, right? And I have an example for you here. Who remembers this bundle of joy? You tell me.
Big Red. And as her rant went viral, Shanti quickly turned into a living meme and a caricature of modern-day feminism.
Sorry, this is the wrong video. Let me go back. I chose the wrong one. It is... There's a video of her losing her absolute mind. I kind of dropped the ball there on the surprise. My bad, boys. But we all know Big Red, right?
So, you have accepted the truth.
Okay, here he is. Shout out to whoever just subscribed as well.
Shut the fuck up for the 50th billionth time. If you'd fucking listen. Can you shut the fuck up for a second too? Rape accusations discredit rape victims, which reinforces rape culture, which is part of patriarchy. The idea of certain people are inherently more valuable than other people because of superficial physical attributes is part of patriarchy. The idea that men should coddle and provide for women and or purchase their affections in romantic context is condescending and damaging and part of patriarchy. I'm reading, fuckface. The fact that women have long been shut out of dangerous industrial jobs by men, by the way, is part of patriarchy. The idea that women are too old to fight or too delicate to function in a military setting is part of patriarchy. It's part of patriarchy. Part of patriarchy. I don't know if you're noticing a theme. Patriarchy. Anyways, I'm not done. Not done. Shut the fuck up. Feminists do not want you. Shut the fuck up. Let me finish my list. Patriarchy. 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 Feminists hate patriarchy. We do not hate you, fuckface.
Right. So that's an example, and then we got another example here. She makes a return. So remember, they're supposed to be. Remember, it's funny too how the liberals, they paint themselves as like these super altruistic, super amazing, wonderful, great people that are just fucking like, you know, just the best ever, and the Republicans are the real evil people, and all that is just projection. Okay, that's just straight up projection of their internal hatred that they're, you know, vomiting out on people. And here you'll see her at a pride parade. And remember, liberals are supposed to be tolerant of all ideologies, right? But except when the ideology clashes with them. That's when they get violent and vindictive. And the thing is this too, right? Women like this is a woman who has gone her entire life and has not been checked. Okay? If a man were to get into another man's face talking like that, there would be fists thrown for sure. Okay? But the fact that she's a woman and she's considered a, you know, protected class or whatever, she's living in a false reality. But she's also a very miserable individual. And you're going to see, her name is Shanty Banks. And you're going to see exactly, here she is marching at the Pride Parade in Canada. This was in 2016, and you can watch this. This guy is a Christian.
So, you have accepted the truth.
This guy on the left-hand side is a Christian, and he's just, you know, preaching about God in a completely legal format. And watch her reaction here.
Preaching my what? My F. Say it how you said it. My F and what? All right.
You're being disrespectful by showing up and spewing your Jesus shit at a fucking pride event.
Okay. I'm gonna address you.
Let me sing. Let me sing.
No, I'm gonna address you. You have on your shirt, you're a slut. You have on your shirt, I don't F Republicans. You're swearing and you're calling my religion S-H-I-T.
The Bible says you mustn't judge. The Bible says you mustn't judge.
Did she not judge?
And then here comes a fat beta male, obviously, saying the Bible says not judge. The Bible says not judge. And he's just totally simping. And I mean, look at him, dude, honestly. I mean, any man in his right mind who like decides in his head, like, yeah, I totally want to go to a pride parade. Like, come on, dude, really? Like, really? Just come out of the closet. Just it's okay. Just get out there and suck that dick, G. Do what you got to do. But this guy comes in and says, the Bible says you shouldn't judge people.
Did she judge me?
You should know better than judge me. You should know.
Are you judging me right now?
Yes, I am.
You shall not judge, but you're judging me? And you're judging me? And you're judging me? Are you judging me? Okay, I'm gonna tell you why I'm here. Okay.
And then this gay dude throws a bunch of water on him, right? Totally tolerant. Totally tolerant.
So we see that. That's what they call assault. According to the legal textbook, that's called assault. That's called assault. What did I say to you?
Insulting our minds by being here.
Okay, you have your effect and you're swearing.
I don't give a fuck.
I know you don't.
I fucking swear at you because you're being a fucking asshole. And you know
And what did I say to you?
It doesn't matter what you're saying to
I didn't even say anything to this girl and I'm insulting her. What did I say?
It's what you're saying to everybody.
So your hatred against my religion, that's okay? Do you love anybody? Do you love anybody?
I love everybody.
And me too?
No, fuck you. Religion's hatred.
I love everybody, but I don't love you.
I don't love bigots like you.
I'm a bigot. I'm preaching. What else? Did you hear me preach? Did you hear me preach? Did you hear me preach? No, you don't tell me what to do. This is hatred. No, I would give her the mic. Come, I'll give you the. Hold on, one at a time. I'm seeing so much disrespect.
Look at this guy. This guy is so pathetic too. Like, what are you doing? What are you getting so riled up at? Like, you need to be at the gym, you fat fuck. Like, what are you doing marching around and getting angry at people? You're really angry at yourself for being a fat fuck. and your life has devolved. All your decisions in your life have devolved you to showing up at a pride parade. Like, that's the real fucking that's you. You know, again, like I told you guys, when it all goes back down to it, remember I told you guys, it's going to be a consistent theme moving forward with this show. When it comes to people, okay, in this world, there literally is a 50% chance that they are going to be a complete fucking moron. Okay? Literally a complete fucking low IQ,
take my money.
less than 100 IQ moron. Okay? And then even the people that are above 100 IQ, I would say even 50% of those people are also fucking morons. So there are idiots everywhere. Okay? There are idiots and morons everywhere. And they have access to voting machines. They have access to social media. And they're constantly just putting out their vitriol into the world. And, you know, look at the mess we're in right now. If you really think about democracy, right? Democracy is just consistently a bunch of people. Basically, a democracy eventually becomes tyranny and socialism because people just going to keep on voting for the person who gives them the most free shit. And then you're going to use that against them. It happens every single time. Okay? Orange 499 super chat says, I have two girl cousins who are the opposite. One is a single liberal and the other is a conservative and has kid and is married. It's a crazy difference. I'm telling you, it's not fake at all, mate. Like there is real quantifiable differences. And so I'm just wanted to show you this is an example of that kind of thing here happening here on this little. Look at this. Look, watch. It gets worse.
Right here, hatred towards my. You know, that's called religious discrimination. That's called religious discrimination. You're being intolerant. She doesn't love intolerance, but she's being intolerant towards my religion. This is called religious discrimination according to the law.
Yeah, and what do you think?
This is called religious discrimination. Burning pagans? Do you see me burning anybody here? You have a lot of anger in you, man. You have a lot of anger. So do you. You have a lot of anger. Calm down. I am, but they have to calm down one by one. I'm going to give you guys the mic one by one. Don't tell me what to do with my mic. I'm going to give one of you the mic if you guys have respect. One by one.
I'm not swearing.
Get this on tape. If you want one person to talk, I'll give you the mic. That's a lot of hatred. That's a lot of anger. I didn't even say anything to this girl, and she's hating on me. So here's what we're gonna do.
Like, her father didn't hold her and love her as a child. That's really what that boils down to. And it goes back to like what I was saying in that study, right? What happens is what happens in your childhood absolutely is a indicator of what is going to turn into your permanent personality. Okay? And so another one I would like to show you guys is Anna Kasparian. Do you guys know who Anna Kasparian is?
And a lot of the people.
So she's also this chick who like pretends to be like some liberal good person, blah blah blah, right? But the reality is,
Shut up and take my money.
Thank you, Kyle. $20 super chat. I feel the love radiating off of these people. That's not love. That's HIV meds. I'm just joking. Heyo. Well, I mean, I'm just speaking from scientific facts because 66% of all new HIV cases do come from the homosexual population, and that's just data. So maybe it could be happening. Anyways, here's Anna Kasparian from the Young Turks, the show that almost nobody likes, and they're totally being funded by some kind of big conglomerate because I don't even know who likes these people. But take a look here.
And a lot of the people that are picking on him for his weight gain aren't really lookers themselves.
Get off the stage, you fat fuck!
Oh, and it's the classic bullying move where you want to feel better about yourself, so you look to someone and pick on their imperfections to feel good about yourself. It's stupid.
Get off the stage, you fat fuck! You fat fuck!
She strikes me as someone who's actually trying to make a very serious and very terrible statement about overweight people. Get off the stage, you fat fuck! Look, I think that if someone that cares about you tells you, like, hey, let's get healthy together, it's not fat shaming. You know, fat shaming is pointing a finger at you and being like, you're fat. Get off the stage, you fat fuck! I think that this study is really fascinating because, I mean, I can relate to it big time because when I was about 4 years old, my dance instructor told me that I was overweight. And as a 4? Yes, and that stayed with me for the rest of my life. Now,
And that turned me into a raging cunt. That's the end of the story right there. A lot of these people have unresolved trauma that's fucking them up, okay? So when you look at their behaviors too, like when do you ever see conservatives behaving in that manner, right? So going back to the study, so liberals are more likely to be manipulative, tough-minded, and practical, and they engage in risk-taking, sensation-seeking, right? Sensation-seeking, using drugs, cheating on your partners, and that data is quantified a little bit later here as well. So let's continue on with this. And don't forget to smash the like button. I mean, I got 250 people in here. I'm only 171 likes. Like, what is this? What is this? What is this, Aaron Clary stream? Come on, smash the like button. You guys don't be lazy like that. All right. And shout out, I saw Red Pill Thor is in the house too, man. Shout out to you, Red Pill Thor. Shout out to all my mods. Thank you to all you guys who are here. Love you all. Okay, so let's continue, shall we? So anyways, it was liberals in their study, not the conservatives, who were manipulative, tough-minded, and practical. And it was the conservatives, not the liberals, who tended to be altruistic, well-socialized, empathic, and conventional. Now, I bet you, this is a personal theory of mine, right? But think about this. I bet you there were people at the fucking, at the scientific journal that was released. I bet you they probably did that on purpose because they saw the data and they're like, this is going to be bad for us. Like they flipped the information because they only retracted the data like 14 years later. Unbelievable. What a fucking bunch of people. Jesus Christ. Again, bell curve for 50% of people, right? Many people express surprise at the reversal. But if we consider what the study found at its most basic level and how it relates to the dopamine system, the revised results make good sense. Certainly more sense than the original findings, which were widely
Shut up and take my money.
heralded, but exactly backwards. Okay? So the characteristics the study eventually associated with liberals was risk-taking, sensation-seeking, impulsivity, and authoritarianism, right? That's pretty crazy, too. Like, the liberals are supposed to be like, we're the open-minded ones. We're open-minded. We're the best. But really, they're so fucking, like, they're literally like fucking Nazis. Like, they are authoritarians, like, as fuck. Look at cancel culture. Cancel culture didn't come from conservatives. Cancel culture came from liberals. Think about that. Think about how evil that is to, like, you know what? I disagree with this person's opinions, so I'm going to cut off their livelihood. And their family will suffer, and their children will suffer, and they'll be put into poverty, and their whole life will be hard. Think about how evil you have to be to do that. And that's the liberals, right? Constantinus Monoios, Canadian $10 super chat. You must be Greek. That is a wild name. Yeah, Colonel Sanders, yeah, it does explain everything, right? Listen, it gets worse. It gets worse in this thing. It gets worse. This is why you guys got to be careful and stop talking yourself into dealing with shitty women. If a woman shows you she's a dirtbag, believe her and treat her like the dirtbag she is. Okay? So, our characteristics of elevated dopamine as well. But do dopaminergic, I forgot how to pronounce that. Sorry, guys. Dopaminergic people really tend to support liberal policies? It seems that the answer is yes. Liberals often refer to themselves as progressives, a term that implies constant improvement. Progressives embrace change. They imagine a better future and in some cases even believe that the right combination of technology and public policy can eliminate fundamental problems of the human condition, such as poverty, ignorance, and war. No, I mean, it's just clearly the progressives are just trying. It's become like a junkie fix, and that's when then when you put the brain chemical science into this, like you factor in the fact that people who are more likely to be liberals are dopamine addicts. They need the new fix. Like, remember now in 2022, like gay man is not edgy enough. Like, you got to be trans, right? And eventually trans people are not going to be hip enough. You got to be like fucking like trans animal. Like, you got to like have a panda bear sewed to your back and then identify as somebody who only fucks alligators. And then you get a pride parade, because that's just the way. They just need to keep going. They need to keep going. Like, how it is now is just not enough. It's not good enough as it is now, right? They have this incessant need to keep pushing forward, and that's just not healthy. It's not okay, right? It's like a cokehead who just needs more coke, more coke, more coke. That booze head who needs more booze, more booze, more booze, right? So let's continue. Progressives are idealists who use dopamine to imagine a far better world than the one we live in today. Progressivism is an arrow pointing forward. The word conservative, on the other hand, implies maintaining the best of what we have inherited from those who came before us. Conservatives are often suspicious of change. They don't like experts who try to advance civilization by telling them what to do, even when it's in their own best interests. For example, laws that require motorcyclists to wear helmets, or regulations that promote healthy eating. Right. And then here,
shut up and take my money.
I can understand the raising of the eyebrows, regulations that promote healthy eating, right? Because now what are they telling you? Don't eat red meat. Don't eat red meat. Meat is bad. Meat is bad. When it's like scientifically proven, like, you need meat. You need meat. Old people die because they don't have enough muscle tissue on them. And how do you get muscle tissue? By eating protein, and not from a goddamn fucking carrot. You need animal protein. You need animal fats. It is literally science that these people are denying. Okay? GS Strategies 999 Super Chat says, just want to let you know I love your content. I hope one day I can buy you beer. I don't drink beer. If you want to learn how to kill it in the stock market, hit me up. I definitely will. Thank you so much. I take that back. I do drink beer, but if it's only like craft beer, like 9% alcohol or higher craft beer. I don't drink poor people beer like Heineken or fucking any trash you can buy from the supermarket. No thanks, okay? The only beer I'll drink from a bottle is Big Wave, okay? And that's from Kona Brewery. That Hawaiian beer, Big Wave, that is a damn good beer. Other than that, not interested. But we can have an old-fashioned. You come out to Tokyo, I'll have a good time. PBR is nasty. Guinness is nasty. Don't be typing no nasty beers in my chat. Anyways, let's get back to this, okay? Conservatives distrust the idealism of progressives, criticizing it as an impossible effort to build a perfect utopia, and an effort that is more likely to lead to totalitarianism, in which the elite dominate all aspects of public and private life. In contrast to the era of progressivism, conservatism is better represented by a circle, okay? Very true, okay? Here's the deal too, right? Look at what's happening now with Los Angeles. Look what's happening now with California. People literally shitting in the streets, fighting police officers. I mean, it's just, oh, God in heaven. Like, there's a Twitter account. Let me show you. There's a Twitter account called Clown World, and then there's an underscore after it, and it just constantly shows you like what is going on in certain crazy parts of the world, and like, you know, like for example, let me show you. What do I got on the screen here? Okay. So this is happening right now in Los Angeles. This is just like a day in Los Angeles. So progressive.
Oh, he wasn't playing. This nigga really was gonna fight him. Wow. Oh my God. Nigga, keep on. Nigga, run now. Nigga, run.
Tango down, right? You got all these police officers swarming on this man, pulling out their guns, tasing the dude. You know, it's insane. It's insane. And then people there still vote their stuff in, and it's insanity. It's insanity. New York, total shithole. San Francisco, total shithole. Portland, Oregon in general, total shithole. Washington, I mean, arguably a shithole. Let's be honest. Washington State, a lot of libtards, really expensive, raining all the time too, depressing as shit. No wonder they legalized marijuana up there, right? So, I mean, they're just it's common sense. So, you know, they always say like don't judge a book by its cover, but that's actually pretty bad advice. As I've gotten older and I've developed my intelligence and my perspective on life and my
Shut up and take my money.
abilities to like really look in at somebody and look at who they are, you actually probably it's in your best interest to judge a book by its cover and then be pleasantly surprised if you were to be, you know, wrong in that situation. But I think 9 times out of 10 you're going to be right. Kyle 2020 $20 or $5 super chat. Los Angeles is now Arkham City. No, dude, Arkham City is pretty bad though. Come on, I played that game. California is Arkham State and America is Arkham Nation. We need Batman now. I'm Batman. Don't worry. I got kicked from a coffee shop for saying that a big girl doesn't belong in a swimsuit edition. They had me escorted out by an armed guard. I would have just, dude, because you're black, I would just like, dude, if I was black, I would use my blackness to like call people racist all the time and just like raise hell. I would be like, this is racist, you fucking white devils, and just make a big stink out of it just because you know that they would buy into it. And like you just could manipulate them and ruin their stupid, pathetic lives because they're so fucking woke and their bullshit is just so insufferable. It's unbelievable. Jacques Thibault, $2 super chat, says working on my Japanese now, seen a few years. Thank you for the $2. Appreciate you, Jacques. Thank you, Miss Jacques Cousteau. Yeah, exactly. Jari Ayala says fight crazy with crazy, bro. Exactly. I've used that before. Anyways, so
Shut up and take my money.
Oh, there's the $2 donut. Okay. Okay, let's go back down here. Matt Bai, former chief political correspondent for the New York Times Magazine, inadvertently recognized that dopamine differences between left and right wing when he wrote, Democrats win when they embody modernization. Liberalism triumphs only when it represents a reforming of government rather than the mere preservation of it. Americans don't need Democrats to stand up for nostalgia and restoration. Exactly. They already have Republicans for that. Okay. The connection between dopamine and liberalism is further demonstrated by looking at specific groups of peoples. Dopaminergic people tend to be creative. They also work well with abstract concepts. They like to pursue novelty and have a general dissatisfaction with the status quo. Is there any evidence of this type of person likely to be politically liberal? Silicon Valley startup companies attract these type of Jesus, I'm starting all over the place. Silicon Valley startup companies attract exactly this type of person: creative, idealistic, skilled in abstract fields such as engineering, mathematics, and design. They are rebels, driven to pursue change, even at the risk of going broke. Silicon Valley entrepreneurs and people who work for them tend to be quite dopaminergic. They are tough-minded, risk-taking, sensation-seeking, and practical. Personality features associated with liberals in the corrected version of the American Journal of Political Science article. Okay? So, I do think that tough-minded, risk-taking, sensation-seeking, and practical, this is good for men, but most liberal men are not like this. Most liberal men are manipulative, and the reason most liberal men are liberal is because they see women being liberal, and that's like their, you know, what Rollo calls the sneaky fucker game. Basically, they're being snakes in the grass. They're like, oh wait, all the women that are like doing the slut march and like all the feminists, like, oh, they're over there. And I'm telling you, guys really are pathetic and slimy like this. Okay, never doubt the levels of sliminess that blue-pilled men would go to get some pussy. It is pathetic. These men have no fucking dignity. They are slimy. I know some slimy fuckers in Tokyo who think they have game, And these guys are just slime balls. Snaky little slime balls that'll just snake their way in, try to get any little pussy they can. It's really dirty. It's really nasty. And, you know, that's the kind of people that would be more associated with the liberal ideology, okay? And these people are everywhere. I'm giving you examples of people here in Tokyo, and you probably are sitting home in your house in Canada or America or wherever you are in the world, you know,
Shut up and take my money.
You're probably having some examples of this running through your head as well. Steve the Art Guy, $5 super chat, saying, don't judge a book by its cover is the same as dealing in rare possibilities instead of probabilities, like the Skags on FNF. Yes. You do have to remember, though, that the girls on Fresh and Fit, that is a objective sample size of shitty women, because decent women don't go on a podcast at 1 o'clock at night. Okay? They're at home with their man. They're being good women. Okay? And my thing is this, like, don't get me wrong. If girl wants to be out there and slut it up, you can slut it up all you want. And that's how I'm going to treat you. I'm going to treat you like a slut. When you want a ring or you want commitment from me, you're not going to get anything. You're going to get the tip of my dick. That's what I'm committing to you, okay? And maybe some fucking sperm on your stomach or chest, depending how I'm feeling. That's all the commitment you're getting from me. Anything other than that, we will date. I don't know, man. You got to be really hot, and we got to go somewhere that people don't know me, and I'm probably going to keep the bill under $75. That's like, I don't value like chicks like that. But if you're a decent girl, if a girl, like, for example, when I was dating Miss MLD, right? She's a decent girl. She came from a conservative family in Japan, you know, decent human being. I bought her, when I came up, you know, I bought her like $3,000 Hermes wallet. I always paid for her to go on trips with me. You know, she's the only girl that I flew business class with internationally in my whole life. You know, because she was a good girl. She wasn't out there slutting it up. She's never slutted it up in her life. And that's like a direct representation of me. And that's a badge of honor. Like, you can't buy like that type of status. That is, and a lot of girls, smart girls know that, right? Smart girls know that, like, oh, like me not being a hoe is like legit high quality. Okay. And you can't buy that. Just like you can't buy a good body, you can't buy your whoring past away. And that's I'm telling you, the dicks of the ghost of Dick Miss Pass always comes back to haunt you. The fucking ghost of Dick Miss Pass always comes back to haunt them every single time. May not catch them right away, but eventually it does. Okay? And you could be out there with guys who, like, you know, are okay with the fact that you've been ran through more than a fucking, I don't know, like a train station. But, and that's fine. But when you tell me that you have a history of whoredom, my overall perception of you is going to be judging you in a lesser way, because that shows me that you are impulsive. That shows me that you are easily manipulative. That shows me that you're a poor decision maker. And if you're going to be a long-term companion of mine, I can't be bringing that into my life, because that is a lot of risk and a lot of unnecessary risk that I'm trading for what? Pussy? I can get pussy anywhere. Are you kidding me? Dude, getting pussy is the easiest thing in the world once you master a game right here. Right here. And again, if you're focusing on the core four, money, muscles, game, frame, the world is your oyster. Because the majority of dudes are nasty. Majority of dudes don't even clean their fucking toilets. I've seen some people that I know that are just like nasty as fuck. The house is disgusting. Yellow teeth, fat, like fucking don't scrub their toilets, don't take care of themselves. I'm like, no wonder you got no women in your life.
Take my money.
What woman would want to come into this fucking chaos and clean up after you? And you're a fucking grown man. That is disgusting. So if you focus on money, muscles, game, frame, you virtually have no competition. It's easy for me. When I go out and have on a date with a girl nowadays and I have sex with her, it is so like I just always assume the sale because it's so fucking easy. It's literally that fucking easy. Kyle 2020 $5 super chat again. How do you square up the FNF chicks not representing Western? Wait, how do you square up the fresh and fit chicks not representing Western women with the dating app cheating and singlehood statistics for women in the West? How do you square up the F&M chicks not representing? No, what I'm saying is that good girls are not on that show, is what I'm saying. Dude, the majority, really, really good girls don't have social media, bro. Like super, super good girls, you know what they're doing? They're having fun with their family. They don't need to be dopamine slaves to their fucking Instagram. That's what I'm saying. Kyle, this is just showing to me that you have never really experienced a good woman in your life. Based off of what you've been talking and saying so far. Anyways, let me continue. Guys, can you just send super chats $10 and up from now on? Like, just, I want to focus on this article. $10 and up, guys. Thank you so much. Okay. So, what do we know about the politics of Silicon Valley? A survey of startup founders revealed that 83% held the progressive view that education can solve all or most problems in society. Right. But then then when you start manipulating education and you're having drag queen story hour, how is that fixing poverty? How is that fixing the obesity problem in society? How is that creating jobs? Right? Among the general public, only 44% believe this is true. Startup founders were more likely than the general public to believe that government should encourage smart personal decisions. Right, and this is naive. The government should encourage smart personal decisions, but the government is only going to encourage decisions that benefits the government. Okay? 80% of them believe that almost all change is good over the long run. Wow, idiots. And in the 2012 presidential election, over 80% of employee donations from top tech firms went to Barack Obama. Shocker. Okay? From Hollywood to Harvard. Another example of the link between dopamine and liberalism can be found in the entertainment industry. Are we seeing a collection of what's happening now, right? Hollywood, super liberal, right? Is anybody watching She-Hulk? I just watched this shit and just think, like, who the fuck gave the green light on this awful show? It is so awful. And the chick that plays Jennifer is so fucking ugly. I'm like, why did you choose this old, ugly white bitch to fucking play She-Hulk? Dude, Jennifer Walters in the comics was hot and she had big tits. Why, oh why, do you pick some ugly, aging woman? She has wrinkles on the top of her lips. Like when she purses her lips, you can see the wrinkles. It's like, damn, and this bitch is 36. Bro, I'm 36. I don't even have those wrinkles. It is just awful. White women age like milk, but why would you put this geriatric on the screen? Who greenlit this? It's just awful. Marvel Universe is just going to go crashing down now that Tony Stark is dead and Captain America is gone. So there's that. Because those guys embodied masculinity. That's what made the whole thing successful. It was people in America, people in the world like masculine heroes, period. Okay, you can't unwrite that. That's why all these female-led shit always fail as well. Nobody wants to see it. Okay? All right. Another example of this is liberalism, blah, blah, blah. Hollywood is the mecca of American creativity. Arguable. As well as the model of dopaminergic excess. That's true. Our high-profile celebrities feverishly pursue more money, more drugs, more sex, and whatever happens to be the latest fashion. That's why celebrity marriages never last. They're easily bored. According to a study done by the Marriage Foundation, a UK think tank, divorce rate among celebrities is almost twice that of the general population. So general population is 50%. So the fucking divorce rate with them is like what? What's increasing 50% by 50%? That's 75%, right? It's even worse during the first year of marriage when couples must make the transition from passionate to companionate love. And we're going to talk about that in a second here. So that's where most people get kind of bored too. When you have because the passionate love starts at the beginning, but all relationships eventually manipulate and evolve and change into slowly companionate love, which is like you're not having the hot crazy monkey sex like you did at the beginning, but you have a more of a deep, loving, companionate relationship with the woman you're with, right? Speaking from a man's perspective in this case. And that's fine too. That's just normal. Like when you're not going to just consistently have that, like you're never going to meet a woman where you're just like consistently having like that hot, passionate sex that you did from day one. It just doesn't work like that. Like you would, like our brains are not wired to make that happen. Okay. And you go eventually, like, you eventually go to having sex less times per day, and eventually it does dwindle down, but the love changes into a companion love, and it's a more healthy, sustainable love that actually helps you live longer and live a more stable life. But people who are like junkies, they're constantly chasing that passionate sex, it's like eventually that's going to lead you down to a wrong path. It's not a sustainable model, okay, because you keep on chasing that high. Newly married celebrities are almost 6 times as likely to divorce compared to ordinary people. Many of the problem actors face are dopaminergic in nature. A 2016 study of Australian actors found that despite feelings of growth and a sense of purpose in actors' work, they were highly vulnerable to mental illness. Total shocker there, right? Actors identified a number of key issues. Okay, sorry, I'm going to kind of skip over this. We go back to the political stuff. Okay. Okay. As for politics, liberal views dominate Hollywood. According to CNN, celebrities donated $800,000 to President Barack Obama's election campaign, compared to just $76,000 to Republican challenger Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney was an awful character too, though. Fuck that guy. The Center for Response Politics, which publishes the website opensecrets.org, reported that during the same election cycle, people who worked for the 7 major media corporations donated 6 times as much to Democrats as they did Republicans. And everybody wonders why we have like this shithole of a country now that's America, that like literally was like a what do they say? It's like a shadow of its former glorious past, right? Complete garbage. Next on the list is academia. Academia is a temple of dopamine. Academics are described as living in an ivory tower as opposed to an earthen hut, for example. They devote their lives to the immaterial, abstract worlds of ideas, and they are very liberal, right? Again, we're just the writing's on the wall. Big tech, media, and education centers are all liberal as fuck, and they've gone too far down the left path, and they're fucking producing like just nonstop cancer. Right. And now look at CNN is being sued by Donald Trump for defamation. He's suing for $450 million. CNN's tanking. Trevor Noah just got fired from The Daily Show because Trevor Noah is not funny at all. He's a fucking insufferable little dork. Nobody trusts the mainstream media anymore. College enrollment is going down in regards to males, because in regards to who's more susceptible brainwashing, we all know which gender that is, right? Take a look outside. You tell me who believes it's okay to be 300 pounds body fat, right? They are very liberal. You're more likely to find a communist than a conservative in academia. Feminism and communism go hand in hand as well, right? A New York Times opinion piece noted that only 2% of English professors were Republicans, while 18% of social scientists identified themselves as Marxists. And just, the reason I wanted to do this episode, because a lot of you guys at home might have been thinking like, yo, all these motherfuckers are like communists. These liberals are insane. These people are evil as fuck. And you might, like, you just instinctively knew this. Well, now here I'm providing you quantifiable data that's indicating like your thoughts are absolutely true. And you're right. You're not crazy. The world is crazy. America is fucking crazy. Identifying as Marxist. You know, Marxist. Look up who Karl Marx is on that end of this stream. You'll find out. The enforcement of liberal orthodoxy is more widespread on university campuses than in any other setting. Okay. And then they just talk about some comedians crying about that shit. Okay. There's something else I wanted to show you. I kind of want to skip through some of this. I remember. I'm like remembering my trip. At this point, I was in the grocery store reading this part, listening to this part rather. Okay. I want to get to the part where, yeah, and this ties into the relationship starts. Okay, I'm going to read this. I'm going to skip down to this next part. Okay. Thank you guys for being patient. Are you guys enjoying this episode? I mean, it seems like the chat has been consistent, and then the likes are catching up with the viewers. Go ahead and smash that like button. Appreciate you guys for watching and paying attention. Really do. Thank you so much for watching today. Sorry I was late. I was just trying to fix up these lights. You know, in the new studio, I was trying to get everything perfect. Dietary says, it's okay. Thanks, jerk. Awesome episode. Thank you all the guys that are saying nice things. Appreciate you guys. Okay. Anyways, let's go. Let's talk a little bit about where was it? It was right. Sorry, I skipped over it. Okay. Here, this is receptor genes and the liberal conservative split. There's a good chance the difficulty the conservatives face stem from differences in their DNA. In fact, political attitudes in general seem to be influenced by genetics. In addition to the American Journal of Political Science article that's just discussed, other studies support a link between genetic disposition to dopaminergic personality and a liberal ideology. Researchers from the University of California, San Diego, focused on a gene that codes for one of the dopamine receptors called D4. Like most genes, D4 gene has a number of variants. Slight variations in genes are called alleles. Each person's collection of different alleles, along with the environment they grew up in, helps determine their unique personality. Also, alleles determine your hair color, your eye color, your height, a bunch of different things, right? I believe when they're splicing genes, each person has, the mother and the father have 4 alleles that they mix, and then you can have up to 16 different variations of a human. One of the variants of the D4 gene is called 7R. People who have the 7R variant tend to be novelty seeking. They have less tolerance for monotony and pursue what is ever new or unusual. Again, what do you want? A girlfriend that is novelty seeking, or you want someone who's okay with being okay with the consistency of every day and the monotony of it all? They can be impulsive, exploratory, fickle, excitable, quick-tempered, and extravagant. On the other hand, people with low novelty-seeking personalities are more likely to be reflective, rigid, loyal, stoic, slow-tempered, and frugal. The researchers found a connection between the 7R allele and adherence to liberal ideology, but only if that person grew up around people with a variety of political opinions. There had to be both a genetic piece and a social piece for the connection to take place. A similar association was found among a sample of Han Chinese university students in Singapore, indicating that a link to the 7R allele and adherence to the liberal ideology is not unique to Western culture. So this is across humans, okay? Now, while conservatives on average may lack some of the virtuoso talents of the dopaminergic left, they are more likely to enjoy advantages of a strong H&N system. This includes empathy and altruism, right? So the H&N bond, that's what you want to be having with your relationships long term, right? If you're like one of these dopaminergic people, you're going to be consistently seeking new sex, new pussy, and you're like a drug addict feeding a high. Like you're never okay with the same thing. And we probably know people like that. People who always like to travel, people who always need drugs, people who always need new women, aka James Tusk, right? But long term, that's not a sustainable lifestyle for a man that wants to build a life with happiness and stability and loving relationships around him, right? Family, legacy, all those kind of things. You're not going to be able to build that if you're a fucking dopamine slave. No, Troy Francis doesn't do drugs. Troy Francis is totally sober. He's sober as a priest, man. No, Troy's not like that at all. Okay. Anyways, let's go. These include empathy and altruism, particularly in the form of charitable giving and the ability to establish long-term monogamous relationships. There we go. Okay? The left-right disparity in charitable giving was described in a research report published the Chronicle of Philanthropy. The researchers used IRS data to evaluate charitable giving by the state based on how each one voted in the 2012 election. This is really interesting stuff here, too. You're going to see who is more giving and more generous and donates to more charity. The Chronicle found that people who gave the highest percentage of their incomes lived in states that voted for Romney, Republican states, conservative, while the people who gave the lowest percentage of their incomes lived in states that voted for Obama. Okay? In fact, every one of the top 16 states for giving as a percentage of income voted for Romney. A breakdown by city found that the liberal cities of San Francisco.
So, you have accepted the truth.
Aaron Clary just subscribed. All right. Liberal cities of San Francisco, shithole, Boston, shithole, were near the bottom. Whereas Salt Lake City, awesome place. Birmingham, been there, not bad. Memphis, good. Nashville, good. And Atlanta, shithole, but, were among the most generous, right? The differences were independent of income, okay? Poor, rich, and middle-class conservatives all gave more than their liberal counterparts. Again, the narrative, and that ties into the manipulation of the liberals, right? What do the liberals say? We're the good people. We're more tolerant. We give more. We're better. No, they're lying, manipulating pieces of shit. Generous people don't need to go out and talk about their generosity. Good people don't go and talk about how good they are. They're just good. Okay? I hope this is opening a lot of eyes for you guys. The results don't mean that conservatives care about the poor more than liberals do. Instead, it may be like Albert Einstein. Okay, this is just blah, blah, blah. Okay, so let me go back down to something else.
Shut up and take my money.
Jacques Thibault, why do you think Boston's bad? Well, racist as fuck, a lot of crime, expensive as fuck, dirty, bunch of traffic. Do I need to continue? Okay. All right. Here we go. Coupling conservatives, okay? Because this is the next portion I want to talk about when it comes to relationships, because you're going to see some interesting data here as well. All right. The preference for close personal contact that leads conservatives to take a more hands-on approach to helping the poor also makes them more likely to establish long-term monogamous relationships. The New York Times reported that the spending childhood nearly anywhere in blue America, especially liberal bastions like New York, shithole, San Francisco, shithole, Chicago, shithole, Boston, shithole, and Washington, shithole, makes people about 10% points less likely to marry than the rest of the country. So spending your childhood near these kind of places will make you less likely to marry. Isn't that crazy? In addition, when liberals marry, they're more likely to cheat. And there it is. Okay? Disgusting. A woman cheating is just the most disgusting thing in the world. In addition to charitable giving, the General Social Survey also tracks that the sexual behavior of Americans. Starting in 1991, they began asking, have you ever had sex with someone other than your husband or wife while you were married? Dr. Kanazawa, who evaluated the relationship between political ideology and intelligence, analyzed this data to find out who was most likely to answer yes to the question. Among those who identified conservative, 14% of conservatives cheated on their spouse. The number slightly fell to 13% among those who identified as very conservative. Among liberals, 24% reported cheating. That's 1 in 4. 1 in 4. And 26% of those who describe themselves as very liberal reported cheating. I'm not trying to take that kind of risk. Give me the 14%, not the 24%, not the 26%. No, Nasty. You nasty, cheating sucia. The same trend was seen when the data from men and women were analyzed separately. So it was across genders. Conservatives have less sex than liberals, possibly because conservatives are more likely to be in companionate relationships in which testosterone is suppressed by oxytocin and vasopressin. And this is what I talked to you about. When you're in a long-term loving relationship, like I'll use when I was dating Miss MLD for an example. When we first started dating, we were having sex like rabbits, man. I at one point I thought I broke her vagina because she was just bleeding all the time. Every time we had sex, I was just murdering that shit, right? But as we evolved in our relationship, it became more deep companionate love, and we weren't having sex as much, but I just still loved her. I loved her fucking so much, loved her fucking to the end of the earth, and it was a great time, and it was a great relationship. And compared to when you're running through whores on Bumble and Tinder and shit, right? And you're just having like this hot animalistic sex all the time. It's cool if you're a guy, right? But if you're a chick doing that, all you're doing is running up the body count. And when you run up the body count, the amount of men that want to take you under their wing and bring you into your life, you just fuck yourself into a corner, literally. Okay? So, the more you know, right? And all these chicks identifying as liberals, now they're out there like liberally getting fucking abortions and shit. Like, oh yeah, I just got an abortion. Like, think about how irresponsible you have to be to you're having so much unprotected sex that you're letting dudes fucking straight up come deep inside you. Like, you're meeting a complete stranger and you're like having this dude come straight up deep inside you, his sperm shooting up in your ovaries. Like, think about, first of all, it's so hard to get pregnant, okay? Second of all, think of the frequency of whoredom that needs to be undergoing in your life for that to happen. And think of how retarded that girl has to be be consistently engaging in that type of risky behavior to get pregnant and then fucking murder a baby. Funny. So anyways, going back to this, conservatives have less sex than liberals possibly because conservatives are more likely to be in companion relationships in which testosterone is suppressed by oxytocin and vasopressin. Though the sex may be less frequent, it's more likely to end in orgasm for both partners. This is where it gets juicy, okay? According to a study called Singles in America, a survey of more than 5,000 adults designed by the University of Binghamton's Institute for Evolutionary Studies, conservatives are more likely to experience climax during sex than liberals. It gets worse. Dr. Helen Fisher, chief scientific advisor at Match.com, speculated that conservatives are better at giving up control and activity necessary for orgasm to occur. Why do they give up control? More trust. Right? There was one feminist chick. There's a bunch of chicks. One thing I noticed too, Japan is more of a conservative country, right? And when I've been having sex with Japanese girls orgasm so much more frequently with me than American chicks. Far more frequently. Dude, I'm talking there's girls in America that have straight up never had an orgasm in their life. Okay? When I was sleeping with Miss MLD, I'll keep in mind, I was the third dude she's ever been with. She would have an orgasm 3 to 5 minutes into sex. Missionary position. I didn't have to whip out some jackhammer fucking dildo master 5000 thing and vibrator and finger her asshole and do all this weird shit that these bitches need to get off on. Because again, that goes back to the mental stability. Okay? A lot of these chicks in America are fucked up in the head, and you guys just don't get it because you're just living in that fucking clown world zoo. Okay? Chris says Asian women are tighter, squirt easier. I know Chris has never had sex with an Asian woman because that's a dumb stereotype and fucking the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Squirt easier. Chris, just chill, bro. We know you don't get laid, bro. It's okay. It's okay. You just outed yourself with that dumb comment, but that's okay. Okay. What I'm trying to say is that a lot of these girls come from stable conservative homes here as well. When I dated the Chinese feminist, we all know about her, right? That crazy chick. she could never have orgasm from penetrative sex, right? I would have to go down on her. I would eat her out, and it would take me like 15 minutes for her to orgasm. But also, she had high levels of trauma from her childhood, had high levels of trauma from her father, and she was a turbo whore. She had fucked like, dude, her body count was like minimum 50. Like minimum 50, bro. Minimum 50. Okay? Came from a broken home. Totally liberal, didn't trust men, has like, to this day, has like a feminist hate account going on Twitter, and she's like talks about how she hates men and all this shit. It's funny because she talks about how she wants to be this strong, independent woman, and she's like 31, and she still begs her dad for money. Can you imagine? Can you think about how pathetic you are as a human, that you have to consistently go back to your parents when you're 31 years old to ask them for money? Think about that. Milagros is in the chat. She says something very wise. She says, they want love, but have no idea that love is earned. I'm telling you, bro, Milagros is one of those smart chicks because she's out here watching men's dating content and she's like not being argumentative. She's learning it, and then she's fucking used this information and she got herself a man. That's a smart girl, man. That's a smart girl right there. Yeah, and Milagros follows up there. She says, just like sluts are bad girlfriends, they are bad at being a girl friend, as in friends to girls. And yeah, dude, a lot of these girls, bro, they change friends more often than they change their underwear, bro. It's just funny, bro. It's like, that's why I've kind of gotten bored with dating, because I've totally mastered the game. It's so boring now. For me, looking at the financial markets is far more mentally stimulating, you know? And honestly, I've kind of reading this book, and God bless this man, dude. I tell you, me meeting Brandon Carter, he's the one who recommended this book to me, and I never thought this kind of data would be in here. To be honest with you, I got halfway through this book, and I was like, man, I don't even want to finish this book. It's kind of boring. They're going over and over and over the same shit. But he's my mentor. What am I going to do? Sit here and argue with him? Like, no, fuck you, Brandon, and all the millions of dollars you made. I'm not going to listen to what you said. I'm smarter than you. Like, when he's clearly out earning me, has a better body than me, has a bigger business than me. No, like, I need to shut the fuck up and listen. And I'm so glad that I got to this point in the book, because this shit is just absolutely fascinating. And I would recommend to all people, like, you know, the dopaminergic, like hunger to consistently get new pussy, it's never going to go away. And eventually, like, that dragging, chasing, that junkie-like behavior is going to catch you. It's going to cause some trouble in your life in the end, okay? So, it's just so far more in your, it's far better in your interests to kind of seek one of these companion relationships in the end of the day, at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Because if you're just going to keep on chasing this dragon, like, it's just not going to end well for you. It's not. I'm just telling you, it's not. This is why you see all these players, like even Leonardo DiCaprio, he will settle down. Mark my words, he will settle down. Okay, let's go back to this. I'm just going to reread this paragraph. Dr. Helen Fisher, the chief scientific advisor at Match.com, speculated that conservatives are far better at giving up control and activity necessary for orgasm to occur. She attributed this ability to having clearer values, which makes it easier to relax. This explanation, which relies on a connection between clear values and disinhibition during climax, may not be the most straightforward explanation. There may be simpler ones based on what we know about neurobiology of sex. Most obviously, letting go of control, which is necessary for climax to occur, is easier within a trusting relationship. And that's why girls with daddy issues, really hard for them to have orgasms too. Because they don't trust men because daddy betrayed them. So they have a bad image of men in general. Think about that. The first man in their life betrayed them and abandoned them and or abused them, right? And it's kind of becomes this hedonistic treadmill, because maybe think, oh, well, this guy didn't give me an orgasm, so I go to the next guy. This guy didn't give me an orgasm, I go to the next guy. I go to the next guy. You know, there's an American girl I know in Tokyo, and she's like total whore. And she's so broken and sad. It's fucking really sad. She's beautiful, but she's like totally broken chick, and it's just like depressed, can't get a man. And of course, growing up, guess who didn't love her? Daddy. Trauma, arguing all the time. And she told me, like, she has never, to this day, she's never had an orgasm. And she's like 30, 31 right now. She's never had an orgasm. It's funny. It's funny. I'm just happy that I'm smart enough to know all this shit and build myself a fantastic life. This type of relationship is more common among stability-seeking H&N conservatives compared to novelty-seeking dopaminergic liberals. And honestly, when you're having like consistent, mind-blowing like orgasms with a chick, bro, it's enough. It's like it's better than just like, you know, constantly being out there on the prowl, looking for new pussy and shit. Like, if you just have one girl or a couple of girls where you're just having good, highly satisfying sex with them, that's really all you need, bro. For me, honestly, at this point, at 36 years old, I would say having like a team of like 2 to 3 girls is more than enough for me at this point. I got bigger problems to solve right now than just, you know, and what, I'm just going to go out there and chase whores, like literally chase whores, and like, you know, for what? For what? Like some new titties, some new orgasms? Nah, I mean, I don't know. I know. I keep in mind too, my body count is like 200 fucking 250 or something like that now. So I've already fucking had sex with a bunch of chicks. Like, you know, I've done it all, man. I've done it all, and like anything more than that is like, yeah, you kind of just like, it's a little, you're borderline into like a sickness at that point. Okay. Additionally, the ability to enjoy the physical sensations of sex is here and now requires suppression of dopamine by H&M neurotransmitters such as endorphins and endocannabinoids. Greater activity in the H&M system relative to dopamine makes that shift easier to occur. The dating website OkCupid did their own survey on sex and found an intriguing piece of data with regards to what kind of people valued or did not value orgasms. They ask, are orgasms the most important part of sex? They divided up the data based on political and professional affiliation. Those most likely to answer no to the question were politically liberal writers, artists, and musicians. If you're highly dopaminergic, as writers, artists, and musicians tend to be, the most important part of sex probably occurs prior to the main event. It's the conquest, the chase of it, right? When an imagined object of desire turns into a real person, when hope is replaced with possession, the role of dopamine comes to an end. The thrill is gone, and orgasm is anticlimactic. For me, the orgasm is the most important part of sex. Finally, as would be expected when comparing liberals with their elevated dopamine with conservatives with their elevated H&N neurotransmitters, conservatives are happier than liberals. Oh, shocker. Shocker. Conservatives are also happier than liberals? Wow. Oh my, I'm just so blown away. And again, when it comes to dating a woman, what do you want? You want some depressed bitch with fucking, who's popping Lexapros like they're fucking Tic Tacs? Or do you want like a happy woman who's like happy with their things in life? Like I'm telling you, if a girl struggles with depression and if a girl struggles with anxiety and you bring that into your life, that is trouble. That is trouble. You do not want to be bringing that shit into your life, guys. No matter how good that pussy is, I'm telling you, you will pay for it. You got to be searching for that companion love in the long term. Okay? A Gallup poll conducted from 2005 to 2007 found that 66% of Republicans were very satisfied with their lives compared to 53% of Democrats. 61% of Republicans described themselves as very happy, but fewer than half of Democrats were able to say the same. Wow. And you know what they consistently think that's going to make them happy? More change, more this, more that. Okay? I need more change. And then this is what happens, right? Which ties into this point again.
We're gonna do. If you guys want to talk, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna show you and model you what respect means, and I'm gonna give you the mic. If anybody wants to have a respectful conversation and take turns, okay, everybody, hold on. If anybody wants to have a respectful conversation, one by one, I'm gonna lend the mic, and we're gonna go back and forth. Is that a deal? Okay, so one by one. No, she's first. She's first. Okay, no, she's first.
I'm a pagan, okay? So, okay, honey, I'm trying to say something here, okay? I'm a pagan. I belong to the Wiccan religion. Christianity, unfortunately, you may be saying it's all about love and what have you, but they burn people for not agreeing with them. That's all I'm saying. So please don't come out to a street corner and preach love when you're talking about a religion that established itself through hatred and murder.
Okay, now I have a question. Did I murder anybody? I'm telling you.
You have a permit? No, is there something wrong? Is there something wrong? You're causing a disturbance right now.
I'll turn it off.
This is a conversation. Okay, but you're causing a disturbance right now.
I'm not causing any disturbance. These people.
There's a group right now?
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong according to the second part of the Charter of Freedom and Rights to preach what I believe, to have a freedom to associate where I need to. Hey, look, this is off. Let's talk. Give one of you the mic if you guys. Did you hear me, please? Did you hear me, please? Did you hear me, please? No, you don't tell me. Everybody, but I don't love you. I'm a big man. I'm preaching. What else? Did you hear me, please? Did you hear me, please? Did you hear me, please?
These people are totally happy. This is like the happiest group of people I've seen all day. The fat Indian guy really is the winner of this video. He's like, oh, how can you call her slut? How can you call her slut? She's wearing a sticker on her chest that says slut. Listen here, Kirpal. All right, just relax, okay? Don't get your roti in a knot. Oh God, it's funny, mate. So funny. 61% of Republicans described themselves as very happy, but fewer than half of Democrats were able to say the same. In a similar vein, people who were married were happier than those who were single, and people who went to church were happier than those who did not. I'm telling you, man, there's a connection. There's a connection with all this. There's a way to live life, to live a happy, sustainable life. And there's a way to live life to be miserable. And the majority of people are fucking miserable because the majority of people are fucking morons. And that's just the moral of the story. Okay? The world is rarely simple, though. Despite higher rates of marital satisfaction, more reliable orgasms, and less cheating, couples in red states are more likely to get divorced than those in blue states. They also consume more pornography. Now, I would say this. The reason why couples get more divorce in red states, I would bet money because the divorce laws are far more vicious in blue states like California, New York. These places are awful to get divorces. Absolutely awful. They also consume more pornography. Although these findings appear to be counterintuitive, one explanation is that they're a result of greater cultural emphasis on organized religion. Red states couples are pressured to marry sooner, and they are less likely to live together or have sex prior to marriage, right? Consequently, the average red state couple has less opportunity to get to know each other before getting married, which may destabilize the marriage. Similarly, disapproval of premarital sex may lead to greater use of pornography to obtain sexual release. Okay? So, that's basically what I wanted to cover here today. I just wanted to show you some just objective data that would show you that like there is there's an absolute connection to like women who are liberals being shitty partners compared to women who are conservatives being better partners. And there's no fucking, like, I could just tell you, the two girls that I dated in my life that are really conservative were when I was younger. Her name was Crystal, sweetheart, angel of a chick, like wouldn't fucking harm a fly. And then Miss MLD. And then the other relationships I had with these liberal chicks, and they're all fucking, it was just all fucking nightmares, man. Fucking so, like, just, I was not in a good place mentally when I was dealing with them. That's why I tolerated that shit. But now that I've grown and I've matured and I've woken up, I've seen the light. liberal girls are good for pump and dump only, okay? Now, am I saying every single liberal girl is like bad for you in a relationship? Obviously not, right? However, the reality is very simple. The statistics are in your favor to choose a chick that's from conservative. Now, does that mean the conservative chick is going to be like 100% best choice no matter what, and like she's never ever gonna fucking betray you, anything like that? No, but I would think overall the sample size of better quality women is going to be in your favor in the conservative camp versus the liberal camp. I hope you guys had a great day today. Don't forget to hit that like, comment, subscribe button. I'm out of here, but don't forget, make money, make muscles, learn game, and most importantly, hold frame. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.